me wait for a few people to come in here. And let's share gotta share in all the groups. Gotta make sure.
I like that music. That was some awesome intro music.
Thanks. Yeah. I tried to time it so it gives me enough time to share in the Facebook group, share from the page to the group, but it never works. It does. I think I need to add a little more music.
Yeah.
Now I think we're shared. And let's see. All right. We are good. And let's see. All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Sublime session. It's a tool, knowledge tool for discovery. I'm joined by the founder of Sublime, Sari. I think I said your name right.
Yeah, you were great.
I tried. I know I asked Alex backstage before. I was like, wait, Sari?
I taught him.
Yeah, we were trading that for half an hour. No, just kidding. Head of creative, Alex, my buddy.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
We're besties.
We're besties now. How are you both doing?
I am doing great. You got my name right, so that
you're good. You're like, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm good. I'm not talking. I got your name right.
I'm doing good too. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Thank you so much. First of all, where are you from, Sari?
So I'm originally from Colombia, Bogota, Colombia. I've been actually Alex and I met in college, so I've been in the U.S. since 2006.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where'd you guys go to college?
We went to Brown in Rhode Island.
Brown. Oh, Brown RISD. That was like my number one pick, Rhode Island School of Design. And I know I think they were affiliated with like Brown or something. So every time I hear Brown, I'm like, oh, I wanted to go there. But I ended up going to Boston, so that was good. Back up.
Yeah, RISD is amazing. I mean, I actually used to have a lot of friends at RISD. Yeah, so Alex and I met there, and these days I live in Miami.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Alex, where are you at?
I am in Asheville, North Carolina. We just moved here a few months ago, and it snowed again this morning, which is so weird.
It's crazy because my parents just went down south for like the tryout winter out there in Florida somewhere. I don't know where they are, but I know they went through like North Carolina, Georgia, and as soon as they went down, it started snowing.
Yeah,
so they brought the weather to you guys down there from New York. You know,
got it. They're to blame.
Where are you, Joe?
I'm in New York, so we're all. I'm on Long Island, so we're all on the same time zone, which is great because we could plan more of these. It's much easier when you're all the same time zone because most founders and a lot of the tech companies are overseas or on the West Coast, and coordinating a live session is a little tricky at times. So this is good. We could just have like pop-up Sublime sessions, here and there, East Coast. So yeah, tell us we got your background, like how you met in school. What's like the origin story for Sublime? Like why did you want to create a tool like this, basically?
Yeah, I wish I could say there was a napkin moment, and everything kind of emerged. But the reality is, it's been this gradual unfolding. The practical story is actually, I think, much like your audience or anyone that would choose to join this webinar. I've always been obsessed with ideas, collecting ideas, connecting ideas. I've always been in roles where so much of the nature of the work is about connecting ideas, and I had tried everything. So Notion and Obsidian and Airtable, and it all seems so complicated.
There's so many.
There's a lot, and I think the vibes are different. But the practical kind of background is I actually started my second brain in Airtable, of all places. And one day I decided to sell access to it, and it blew up. I think overnight. It was actually, to be fair, not just selling access to my second brain, but basically pitching in my Substack the idea of basically hey, come with me on this journey. I want to build a more like collaborative PKM tool. Here's my second brain, get access to it. And then let's figure out together how we can make this feel more communal, because on the one hand, you have the SEO, manufactured web, then you've got social media. Why not build this collaborative knowledge
together?
Together. So that was the spark. And frankly, there was no agenda. I had a job, but this thing blew up. Like I think we made around like 40K in one day of people really just interested in this concept. And I would say that's what set me off on a path of
How long has it been?
that was like maybe 4 years ago.
Wow.
So it was a while ago. And yeah, I think it's just been like a gradual unfolding since. But I think Sublime, like for the past year and a half, like that's when it really kind of got legs. And I think we really crystallized and went from this like abstract notion into something that I think is a lot more concrete. And we always say we have like we have our head in the clouds, but our feet on the ground. And I think for a while our head were in the clouds, but our feet were not quite hitting the ground. And so I feel like we're just very close to that sweet spot where we know our customers and why they come to Sublime and why they love it relative to other tools, but there's still this kind of like seed of a desire for like a more sublime internet that kind of fuels the whole thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. No, I love it. I mean, Alex, I think, sent me an email a few months back, right, Alex? And to try out this tool, saw that I was into the knowledge tools, obsessed with them, love them. And then I was like, Sublime, what's this? Is this the band? Who is this? Like, I want to know. I love the name. And then, of course, there's other Sublime apps, I guess, in the space. So I had some friends be like, wait, which Sublime? Which is this? I'm like, no, this is a new one. This is interesting. Once I click the link, I mean, because we all get, different tools, different links to check out. And okay, let's check it out. I'm like, this is really different. This is really clean. In my design background, like the white, clean space with the cool logo, just the interface. And you have that community part, which you were talking about, which I didn't like in past tools that tried to put them in. It wasn't really a fan. I think I spoke to Alex about this, where I wanted to like a knowledge base. That's really what I wanted for my research. And I wasn't sure if I was ready to interact with that community. I think a lot of probably users are still used to Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever they're using. And that's their social media platform. So I think the way you have it, it's working. I'm still like baby steps going through it, but that's what you're trying to do, right? Combine the social with the AI, with the knowledge, and sharing those ideas from real people, not like algorithms and other things that are bumping things up. Is that really,
I mean, first of all, you nailed it. And I love that you started with what it feels like, because at the end of the day, the thing that we are most loyal to is the feeling. What is the kind of like emotion we want this place to have? And Alex came up with this tagline of sorts, which is like, what the heck is a knowledge worker? You are a creative human being. And I think that captures the idea of this tool, like our desire for this tool to feel like it's like a studio for your mind, which is very different from, like a factory conveyor belt, or, the vibes of like other, like Airtable, like very spreadsheety. So I think for us, like it really starts with, I want a place where I can be inspired, where that is extremely kind of like, creativity does not come from a blank screen. It comes from abundance. It comes from having a lot of ideas. And so really the spirit of the kind of multiplayer piece is it's not the metaphor of social media of let's all kind of scream and compete for likes. It's I'm working on my own thing, privately, publicly, up to me. But I have this window into other people's ideas as I'm working through my own, which we felt like was just a feeling that was very much lacking on the internet. And we always try to liken it to a coffee shop, because in a coffee shop, you are, there's this like perfect balance of solitude, community, focus, creation. So yeah, I think that these are the themes that we're trying to really kind of explore and make come together in the software.
Do you think that the tool is more community focused or knowledge based? Like, say, I'm more introvert and I wanted just to keep my stuff for my research and not share. Will I be okay as a user in Sublime? Or are you trying to really go with the community? Like that's the main focus, and then the knowledge base second? Or have you thought about like your users? I'm not saying, I mean, I think it's great to have both. I'm just curious if you get some users like, I want to keep my things private. I'm not sure if I want to chat yet,
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I definitely think the data supports that A lot of people use it exclusively privately. A lot of people use it exclusively publicly. So, we really will have done our job well when people feel extremely comfortable using Sublime privately. That said, here's like where Sublime is different, I think, is like on Sublime, you can save one thing and discover many more.
Yeah.
From not just your library. And whether you do that privately or publicly doesn't matter. So if you just want a tool where you can save your research and you have no interest or desire in opening windows of discovery into other things, then I would say Sublime is not the tool for you.
Okay.
But if you're interested in having a repository of all the interesting things you come across, whether it's your Kindle highlights, your Twitter bookmarks, your Instagram bookmarks, all of your kind of adventures on the web, but you want to make sure that those ideas are connected to this like web of human curated ideas, then Sublime is right for you. So I would say that is like the question is not whether you want it private or public, because I think we support privacy very well. I mean, I'll show you with my screen share. I have a ton of private stuff, but I care about the serendipity of how can this like private highlight lead me down doors of discovery. And I think it is because the kinds of use cases that we're supporting, the kinds of people that are drawn to the tool are writers, strategists, builders, and they just want that serendipity. So, but if you don't want that, there's other tools. And I think it's better to be kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely helpful to share. I've been, as an artist through the years, sometimes like, oh, I don't know if I want to share this piece of art or something. But then I pushed myself, I did it, and I met other people, made connections, and sold some art, at the same time, which is great. So Sublime would be good for that, correct? Like if you have some stuff you're working on, some writings, some thoughts, not just sharing things from social media that you see that's awesome, but your own stuff. Even if you think it's silly, just put it out there, right? See what happens.
Totally. I mean, one of the things I've been saying is that now that AI is commoditizing output, where anyone can kind of create anything with the touch of a button, the process by which you got there, it becomes more important, right? So if I wrote this essay, here's all the references, here's kind of the raw material. And I think Sublime makes it really easy to share all of that like evidence, that the artifacts of humanity of that process. And I think much like Spotify, it's a flexible system where you can make something public and it makes it to your public library. You can make it fully private. You can make it semi-private where only you are the people you share a link with. But I think that for us, like one of the key insights was, why is it that so many of us are laboring away in our solo knowledge tools on the one hand, or shouting into this performance stage of social media? Why can't we like find this hybrid middle ground?
Connect quicker with people, because the algorithms we all know on the social media platforms have changed so much. I feel like on X, on Facebook, my stuff is not being seen like as it used to be, and that's, I guess, one of the main reasons you made Sublime, because you just want to get through the noise, right, and just get to your target who's intended for. Asif actually is asking, is it like Evernote plus AI? I don't know if you've used Evernote.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think somebody the other day said that Sublime is like a modern version of Evernote, but with good taste, and you're not alone. So I think I think it's definitely appropriate. I mean, here's my take. I think that there is this tendency in the PKM space to be like, oh, is like, how is Sublime different from Notion or from, Obsidian or whatever? And different tools serve different purposes. I personally think like Sublime is purpose built to curate a knowledge library of all of the references, insights, quotes, highlights, things that you find interesting. I think that Evernote like makes that possible. You can clip things from the web, but it also doubles as a, to-do list, project manager, like all of these kind of various use cases. And so for us, like, we really believe that the ideas that move you should not live alongside your, kids' health insurance info, or, your to-do list, or your kind of like Netflix password. So the spirit of Sublime, like you mentioned, Joe, initially, like this kind of minimalism and simplicity and connecting ideas, it really is designed for what we call like knowledge-driven creative professionals that consume a lot of information, want to ultimately like create something with them, right? Because I think that's the problem with a lot of these tools, is that they make it very easy to hoard ideas, but then, how do we go from collecting ideas to connecting ideas to creating with those ideas? And so I think for Sublime, Alex and I, we're both like creators, like, Alex with like film and comedy and writing, and like I have also been writing on Substack for years. And so I think we're building the tool we wish we had as people that very kind of deeply feel this need to create. So I think all these analogies are right. Like whether it's Pinterest for knowledge, or, Notion meets Evernote meets Pinterest, like they're all right. But I think ultimately we are kind of building it from first principles based on, what is the thing that we wish we had.
Nice. Alex, how do you feel about working on Sublime? Being a creative, on a tool, on an engineering part of your brain working now too, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I have always nerded out about this space, like very weirdly, been obsessed with it.
I think we're like drawn to it, right?
There's
Creatives
certain
are drawn to
yeah.
knowledge bases.
We do these How I Sublime interviews, and I did one with a designer, and he was saying how like, he's like, I don't know what it is, but there's just certain people who are drawn to this stuff. He's like, my friends from high school, they don't do this, and I think like, I think I don't know what the type of person is, but I'm definitely in it, which is like this feeling I've always had, which is like, I see something that blows my mind and I immediately want to save it. Like, I don't want to lose it. I want to use it later. I want to, all of this stuff. So that's been me forever. My Achilles heel with all of it has been that the tools are sort of infinitely like customizable. And the ADHD part of my brain becomes like so into the tool, and like I'll like go into this kind of fugue state and like work on Tana for 3 days and then wake up and be like, why did I even start doing that?
Like you go down the rabbit hole and you're like, where am I? What happened?
Yeah, like I forget what I was even saving, like that's not as interesting as this like new puzzle, which is its own kind of fun. But I think with Sublime, for the first time, I found a tool personally that like gets out of my way, and I can't really like, it's so simple that I can't like mess with it under the hood. It's just like a really nice thing.
Can't break it.
Yeah, and so it makes me have to like deal with my own creative stuff, which I'm avoiding when I try to do all the other stuff in Tana or whatever, right? It's like that's an avoidance strategy, I think, for me. It's like, that might be hard. So
you don't want to have to avoid using a tool to be like, to get your flow going. It's like stopping you. And then it's like, all right, I'm going to go do some gardening. I don't know. I'm just going to leave.
Totally.
Procrastination time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think the productivity is like procrastination in disguise.
Yes. Definitely. I mean, I do things, and even my wife is like, "Oh, you're procrastinating." I'm like, I'm washing dishes. I'm like just vacuuming like a hardwood floor in the corner.
Yeah.
She's like, "What are you doing? Don't you have a painting or something to do?" I'm like, no, I have to do this right now."
They're like, it's procrastination, but like that has a good alibi. Be like, well, you can't blame me. I'm vacuuming.
Yeah, I'm vacuuming. You're vacuuming outside. What are you doing?
So like personally, I love that. And then being on the team is awesome. I mean, it's as creative on the inside as it is on the outside. Like I remember when I first started, Sari was like, like we're going to take things really slow. And like, the first few weeks, just kind of like explore and like think about stuff. And I was just like, what? Like that had never happened to me before, that like someone had said like, yeah, just like, think.
There was no deadline. There was no like, I need it this Friday. You're like, this is weird.
It made me uncomfortable. I was like, wait, this is like, am I like failing a test here that I don't know about?
I need structure.
Yeah, I need to like feel anxious. And she was like, no. And I think that's that, the medium is the message. Like that process is also exactly how the tool feels. And so it's in a life that's very harried and intense, and anxiety inducing. It's like Sublime is a really nice reminder of like, things can be sublime, things can be chill. Like,
yeah,
you don't have to do things the crazy way.
yeah.
So
How big's your team? How many of you are there on the team?
We're 6 people. So it's Alex and I are and then a bunch of engineers and designer.
Those engineers. Yeah. Put them in another room.
We're all creative though.
Creative engineers. Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
lot of engineers in the LoudEgg group. And we have a bunch of creatives also. So we're trying, the Sublime is perfect for the space because I'm trying to bring more creativity to the, tech world, like a nice balance. So
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
It's interesting. Like Alex was saying, like there is just a kind of person that is drawn to this stuff, like the second brain PKM world. And I think as much as like I think of Sublime as it, I want it to be like the PKM for the rest of us in the sense that there's so many people that come to our community that are like, I have tried everything and nothing has stuck.
yeah.
And so we want to be like the tool for people who hate the tools. But
yeah.
in some ways, what's interesting is that like just like putting on my more kind of practical brain, our first like 1,000 paying customers very much came from this world. People, people that had a familiarity with that stuff. My big, hairy, audacious goal is like, how do we expand this market? Because I think that especially now with AI, the value of having a curated knowledge base, I think is like going like to be exponentially higher because you can feed that context to an AI and just get like much better responses than whatever kind of generic internet. So I just have like a very kind of like radical point of view on how much more important this stuff is becoming. But we are still trying to figure out how do we like move from this kind of like second brain world and branch out while, like what is the right language to talk about it, right? Because PKM is like, it's a very loaded term. It's a very familiar term to some people.
Yeah.
It's a very foreign term to other people. So I think there's just a lot of like creative messaging challenges that we're excited to navigate.
No, I love it. I think it's great. I mean, that's why I also like doing these sessions because I get to talk to you some more and not just bug Alex to see what, the messages of the tool, your vision for it. And it's like right where I'm headed. I mean, and like you said, it might not be for everybody. But that's great. Yeah. Stay loyal to like your core, what your vision is. Because I've seen plenty of founders have a great product and then they pivot. And then they pivot again because they do listen to the user base, which you want to, especially when you're in beta. But then you become something else. I mean, you guys are listening to your users. I know when I speak to Alex, you guys, listen to like what we think, what do we like, what do we want to see, but you will also stay true to Sublime, the vision. You won't like add some other video feature because someone asked for it. You'll still correct.
It's such an art. I think knowing who to listen to. I think like the first 1,000 paying customers, we promised one-on-one onboarding. So we were very, very close to our community. We were doing 30-minute calls with them. And we have a Slack community that's like alive, kicking. So we get a lot of feedback. And in some ways, I started this year with the goal of like, take less feedback so I can really be in tune with my own intuition. Because in some ways, it's like, you first have to take everything in, but then you have to forget all of that. And like, what does your intuition tell you? With everything else that you have. So it's definitely, I think, an art.
It is. It's definitely an art. I mean, what you're saying too, like, I know whenever I am like, I'm staying true to my vision with whatever I'm so back and forth, but like my creative process, I'm like, I'm just doing illustrations. This is what I'm focusing on. I'm staying true to, I want to be an illustrator. And then I get that call for the commission for an oil painting. And I'm like, I could use the money, but I gotta stay. So I've been trying to get better at that. And I'm sure everybody in business also, when you have a business model, a plan, you're like, this is what we're doing. We're designing websites. We're not doing printing anymore. That's it. But then you get that temptation of, wow, I'm getting all these like business card orders now. What do I do?
Totally.
So
I mean, there's hard. A business on it for sure.
It's a business. I mean, Sublime's a business too. You have to think about both, but it's very difficult, especially when you're creative. like yourself. So
Totally. And I think from a business perspective, we spend a lot of time with our power users who are requesting a lot of kind of power features. But as a business, it makes a lot more sense to focus on the first mile. How does the next 100,000 people that are going to experience Sublime, how does this look like for them? So yeah, there's all of these trade-offs, but ultimately I think I come back to, if you do it for you, if you build the tool that you wish you had, you're doing it as it becomes a gift for everyone else, because there's nothing more authentic and better than when it is a manifestation of a thing you wish you had. And there's going to be more people like Alex and I. So I think ultimately, we're very much rooted in some of our top features, like Canvas. It's oh, I have now this collection of cool things I collected for this essay I want to write. Now I want to make sense of this stuff. And it's cool, but now I'm copy pasting stuff into Google Docs or whatever, or into Figma or Miro. So then we created Canvas. And now it's oh, damn, I'm talking to Claude all the time and I'm copy pasting from Sublime. So now we're working on this smart kind of export your context for AI feature. And so I think all of these things are born because we're using the tool all the time. And I think it's better to trust that if we want it, other people will.
We have a bunch of questions already, but I don't know if you want to do a walkthrough of the tool first, or you want to answer questions, whatever you like.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear what people want, because I know this stuff is very conceptual.
Yeah,
you see
I think they want to see it too. Probably, I have the link up, but in Dobrenko, he's a good friend in the community. Can these bookmarks be accessible in offline mode also?
So we actually don't support offline mode yet. It's on our radar. It's surprisingly insane technical challenge, but again, it's something I want for myself too. So I think we're 1% of the way there in terms of
Almost there.
vision.
Can we share our note with other and set up a password?
So you can basically, if you have a private note, you can generate a view only link and set it and expire it. So you can't set a password, but you can say I'm going to generate a private link, share it with you, and then set it to expire 24 hours later or whatever. So we do offer that. No password support yet.
Brave.
We have an iOS app. So
I've been using it. It's cool.
Android on our radar as well, but not yet.
I don't know. Do you want to share your screen a little bit, and then we can go through questions this way? If more questions start coming.
Yeah, I feel like seeing it answers a lot.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people have not, especially in our community, seen Sublime yet. So
totally.
Be
Okay.
Surprised.
Let me click share. Make sure this works. Share screen.
Yeah, and then I have to hit share once you share.
Let me know if this works.
All right. Is your screen ready? I can put it on the stage.
My screen is a hot mess, by the way. I have a million tabs open. So.
All right. This is your screen. Let me see here.
You all see my library?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All cards. Okay. I see it.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So let me hit the basics first. So the building blocks of Sublime are cards and collections. A card is really anything that you see in this feed is a card, and a card can be anything. It could be an article, audio, book, file, highlights, images, links, tweets, videos, and we will detect what it is behind the scenes and give you this kind of filtering capability. So that's cards. Now you can save a card from anywhere. So for example, if I am in my browser and I like this image, I could just right click, add to Sublime. As you can see, there's a way, I have my library default to private. So I can just add it to my library privately. I can remove this and make it public, and I'll show you what that would look like in a second. And then you can decide to add it to collections. So I have a collection here on taste. So I'm going to add this to taste. And so you can do images. You can also highlight text, and this little kind of pencil follows you around. So, and I'll show you because there's actually a very nuanced way in which we implemented this. If you want to save just the link itself, you can just hit the browser extension and save the link. Now, if we go back to my library, I'm going to show you what this all looks like. So this is the image here. It retained the source. This is a highlight. What's interesting about this is that even if it's a highlight, I just basically highlighted this. It shows up in my library as a card because we really believe that the insight should be the atomic unit. But we do a lot of kind of wiring behind the scenes so that if this is the piece itself, you can see, like, you can basically, like, it's a card system, but this is the parent card of the article, and you could see all of the highlights underneath. And because Sublime is multiplayer, that means, so basically here, you see this number 8. This means this link exists in 8 libraries, 4 of them privately, and then all of these others. So here I can see, like, all right, here's the article. I could see, these are all of the collections this article is part of. I could see what are the highlights people added for this piece. And then I can also see what is related to this. We'll get into related in a second because that's a big kind of part of it. I mean, in terms of adding stuff, adding cards to your library, so there's a browser extension. You can also always add things from the web, paste a link, upload. You can also write text. So, I could just add text to my library. If I just want to add original thoughts, this also works on mobile. Some other, we support screenshotting as well. So if you hit our extension and click on this little, or just hit Control E, you can take a screenshot and just easily. So it's pretty multimedia in that sense. So that's cards. Cards can be private or public. This is my library. So this is what holds everything that I've added. If I click here and go to public library, here's where you'll see everything that I've added publicly to Sublime. So I can link people to sublime.app/Sari. And this is, Alex gave this the name Think in Bio because it's an alternative link in bio, but with all of the kind of thoughts and ideas that I'm finding interesting. So that's cards. Now, collections are just what they sound like. They're just groups of cards. They can be private, public. They can be collaborative. You can invite collaborators. You can export them. We support, exporting. We don't want to trap anyone in here. I'll talk more about that in a second. And a couple other things. Oh, cards. You can also import cards from Kindle, Readwise, and we have more integrations coming soon. So here, for example, I have my Kindle integration set up, and I could see, here's my a link from a highlight from this book that I've been reading. Kindle by default is imported privately. I could always make anything public with just one click. What's cool about importing from Kindle is 2 things. One is our search is, by and large, the smartest out there, in the sense that you can just type the way you think and it's going to surface relevant stuff. But the second thing, and this is really what gets to the heart of what makes Sublime special, is even though this card is private, I can hit this card and immediately see related ideas that other people found interesting. And these related ideas, I can further filter. So say I actually don't care what other people found similar, but I know I have similar thoughts in my own library. I can filter related by in my library and say I just want highlights. So it's pretty, the filters are pretty powerful. So here I could see, I had listened to an episode of Farnham Street with Dr. Laura Markham, related insight. It's a highlight from my library. So it's pretty flexible. I think, Joe, to your point on, in order to like this tool, you definitely need to like the serendipity of being able to discover other things. But it is very flexible in that you can always just filter by your stuff, or I can filter by images and instantly discover other related ideas. And I think the key with all of this is the quality of ideas here is just really good, because Like the secret sauce to all of this is the fact that we've spent 5 years cultivating this community with a lot of kind of love and care. So that's kind of cards. We are working on a Twitter bookmarks integration, Instagram bookmarks, and we like to hear from people what else they want. I've got my pinned collections over here. Some are private, some are public. Typically, what I do is like when I'm writing when I have an idea for an essay or something or a project, I will typically pin it here so that I have it top of mind. And I have a lot of thoughts on like collections, which is probably beyond the scope of this session. But yeah, like for example, Alex and I have a collection together called AI Without Losing Your Soul or Your Job. And we basically like have an idea of doing.
I like that.
Yeah. So like we basically are collaborating on this. He adds stuff, I add stuff, and here's what's cool. So this is where I was mentioning a lot of tools are about just hoarding and collecting stuff. We really care about helping you go from collecting stuff to actually doing something with it. And that's why we don't really think about collections as like tags or like, it's not fear tagging. Like we live in a world of AI. Don't just tag things and organize, because search is so smart that you'll be able to find things just by typing the way you think. So collections for us are really contexts that are more kind of like output driven. So here, like Alex and I want to either create like a course, a zine, an essay, something with this. When we actually are ready to do something with it, I can hit ... create canvas. And what that will do is basically it is like a Figma Miro type whiteboarding tool, but connected to your Sublime library and collections and everyone else's. And so, you can do stuff here like, maybe like practical examples and be like, this is a practical example and, stuff like that. What's cool too is you can, so like, for example, say I like this highlight here, I can always hit this little wand and it's going to surface related ideas. So like, and I can drag them to my canvas. So I think a lot of people like to create canvases and start from scratch. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you're doing a project about like how AI will impact user interfaces or something like that. You can like start to like discover stuff just by running a search and drag stuff. And so we use this a lot when we are kind of like in project mode, making sense of things, outlining things. So I think this is kind of like our first foray into how do we go from, just passive consumption to curation to then creation, right? So that's Canvas. And again, you can create a canvas from scratch or not. And then, so there's 3 little things here. Like one is adding stuff, which we talked about. This home is my library where I have all of my stuff. And then this is like a way to search the full network. And, on Sublime, you can follow people. So I could see like, what are the people that I'm following, adding. And if I like something like Shoe, for example, added this, and I can decide, well, this one's actually has a check mark because it's in my library already. But yeah, maybe I like this, I can decide to add it to my library. So this is where like the Pinterest for knowledge analogy is a common one. You can search and like easily add things to your library. And then, it's interesting. The social part, I'm going to just delete stuff because I would never add this to my library. The social part is extremely light. So I have this notification thing here. And so it basically tells me, Naga added a card from my library to their library. And it's kind of cool because I'm like, okay, who is Naga? And, I'm like, oh, let me kind of go and explore her and like, what else does she have in her library? So there is this, like, I often ignore notifications because to me, like Sublime is really where all of my kind of inspiration harvesting starts for everything. But when I'm in the mood, like I'll sometimes click into this. It's pretty non-invasive. I can see like, Jonathan followed my collection and, Martin added this to collection we have together. And so that's kind of the gist. I'm going to stop sharing for a second to come back here, and then I'm happy to share more. But I want to make sure that I'm not losing people.
That was great. That was a great quick walkthrough. There's a lot there. Yeah, we do have a bunch of questions, so we could start going through these. Asif, an organized knowledge base with the help of AI on its own, or we need label tag the information?
Yeah. So the building blocks of Sublime are cards and collections. Collections you have to create, but here's where we think about like AI and tags. So the first thing is, even if you organize nothing, the search works really well. So there's no, like, I think a lot of tools. Let me share again because it might be easier to share like this. So a lot of tools, like if I filter by images. Yeah. So like a lot of tools, might want to like automatically tag this candle. But like the point being, like, why would I automatically like expose that tag candle when I can just search candle and, and find it like this? So the AI is doing the work behind the scenes of tagging, and we prefer to keep the front end interface simple.
Yeah.
That said, this is where actually I didn't walk through this, but if you have a project, maybe you're thinking about, how AI will change the skills that matter for humans. Like maybe that's a thing you want to write about or explore or whatever. You can create this collection privately. And unlike, say, Apple Notes or Notion or whatever, this is immediately going to surface ideas related to this collection, and it's going to get smarter the more context you add to this. So I can easily just like add to this collection. And to my point earlier, I can filter by in my library, and this is a little bit of like AI doing the work, but we still care a lot about the human intentionality at the core. So this is AI basically helping me. You say like, oh, maybe this highlight is related, and this highlight is related, but you still like it's still not automatic. But I assure you, like I think this is much better than an interface that is just like I just think tagging is like irrelevant when you have smart search. But yeah, there's different, I think, approaches to this. We just prefer to keep it clean and still simple. Empowered. Yeah.
Makes sense. Brave, does it support creating mind map? I think it would be great if we can create a mind map for keep on, think, and link to all.
Yeah, do you want to say more about that? Because it's like the canvas, I think, is a mind map, right? It's like a way to create like a spatial infinite whiteboard of all of these ideas. And I barely scratched the surface, but you could do so much with it.
Asif, what kinds of files can be added in Sublime?
Pretty much everything. So video, audio, PDFs, highlights, screenshots, text. It's pretty comprehensive.
I think you answered this. Can we set list of bookmarks into categories?
Yeah, we call the categories collections, but yes.
Yeah. Is it possible to set bookmark to a particular section of some page?
We don't. So we are working on a way to pin cards to collections, if that's what you mean. But yeah, right now you can sort by different modes, but it's still not like a drag and drop interface.
Can we set tags on bookmarks?
Yeah, I think we talked
about we talked about that. Yeah, some of these questions, sorry, were before. Sahinur, what is in the roadmap?
Yeah,
so there will be added.
Yeah, so I'll talk about the roadmap. So I think that so much of what we want to enable is really helping people go from passive consumption to creation. And a lot of our roadmap is really geared and oriented towards this. So for example, like I have a lot of collections that are like projects or essay ideas or raw material for stuff, and working on a way to export that context so that you can use it to more meaningfully interact with AI is one of our top priorities. It's a surprisingly difficult thing, right? If you have like a PDF, a link, a website, highlights, like how do you then take all of that context with one click and export it into a context where you can actually interact with it? So that will take a lot of legwork, but I think we'll like have the best kind of experience for that. So that's a big part of what we're working on. We're also, I mean, frankly, a lot of what we're working on is making sure that you can capture anything in the most seamless way. So for example, one of the things that we have a prototype of, and I'm happy to give this community early access, is a tool, a companion tool called Podcast Magic. So if you are listening to a podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you just take a screenshot of when you hear something you love, and we convert that into a clip that has like the transcript and the audio clip, and connect that straight into Sublime. So really, we want to make it easy to say like, wow, that made me go, whoa, let me push that into Sublime. And then from there, because the more of the things that made you go, whoa, that you have on Sublime, the more it can become like the place where you start your creative projects, right? The more the value of the networks related ideas comes together. So I would say our roadmap is really divided into capture. So podcasts is like the main thing we're working on, because most other capture stuff works really well. Then connect. So our related ideas engine is what people love the most about Sublime. I would say, like, if I had to say like what is one favorite thing, our community consists of thousands of writers and strategists and creatives, and they just love that they can put in a thought or idea into Sublime and get hand curated related inspiration. It really helps them when they're kind of working on a project. I can walk through specific use cases to make this kind of feel a little bit more tangible, if you'd like. But really improving that connect engine, which is I think what people love the most about Sublime, and then the create part, which is really improving Canvas, improving the kind of context interaction, and then as like a cherry on top for all of this. So, Sublime has a public library. Our public library surface so far from a design perspective has been an afterthought, but we really have kind of a lot of dreams around, Sublime has a lot of stuff that I love. Some of it's private, some of it's public. How do we share the public stuff in the most delightful way? We really are fans of kind of stumble upon back in the day. And so we're also just like playing with the idea of how can we take advantage of the fact that so many people don't like traditional social media as a home to express themselves, and how can we make that surface more delightful? So that's another piece we're working on. And I think there's just so much more in terms of, Asif asked about summarization and reader mode, and there's just so much. I think
there's so much.
There's just so much. But I think fundamentally, we're also, we try to build kind of thoughtfully, right? Because I think a lot of these tools cram a bunch of features, don't give it a lot of thoughts, and then they start to look like an airplane cockpit of features, because it's like summarizing this and that, and we just prefer to really kind of optimize for simplicity and minimalism, and that means we just take a little bit longer sometimes to fully design something the way we want it.
Yeah, Uli's saying the tricky part is when developers focus on technical possibilities and expect users to pay for it. So own user attitude is good if guided. I think he was talking about earlier when we were saying how developers pivoting and stuff like that. Dan, is the related content feature limited to English only content?
So it's interesting. So to be perfectly honest, I have not tried this on multiple languages, but we have a lot of people in our community, German, French, and I've seen them post on Slack, like, I didn't expect it to pick stuff up, but it did. So, I mean, we use all of the kind of like standard APIs, and it seems to pick up a lot of other languages, but don't hold me.
Uli, are the buttons and tools of Sublime interfering in a way with other running applications? Just saying at the moment in Chrome, I already have different menus appearing when highlighting stuff.
Interesting. I don't know exactly.
There are extension conflicts I've noticed, not with Sublime necessarily, but with many tools. Where I have so many Chrome extensions and I would have to disable. And it does happen with the knowledge-based extensions that have been like on AppSumo recently, where they almost know like they're competitors. One will mess up the other one from capturing a page or doing something. But that happens, I guess, when you update your extensions, you always check on that, right? Like every so often, make sure there's no issues.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, I think there definitely might be conflicts with other extensions. We've tried to like build ours to avoid that, but
I've been good so far, and I am, extension hoarder here. Like I have like a whole row that are active, and it's been working. So,
and worst case, you can turn off the highlighter piece, so you don't have to have that on if it is conflicting, and then you can still write. You can highlight text and right click on it, and then just add it that way too. So it's
so you can just to show what Alex is saying. So you can go here and turn off the highlighter.
Okay.
And we also support PDF highlighting, which is neat. One thing I actually didn't mention about related ideas is a lot of our audience, a lot of our customers create content, right? We have a lot of Substack writers on Sublime, and the related ideas follow you everywhere. So if you have, basically like write anything down, you can hit Control R, and it's going to surface related ideas directly into like the Google Docs. I use this a lot. Honestly, when I'm writing, sometimes I will kind of articulate something in a way that I don't love and hit related ideas and see if there's like a better, like I just want to get like inspired on demand about how might I express this, or sometimes I just want like evidence to support my thinking, or something like that. So I think the thing that I think most people like Sublime is, I think, very similar to tools like My Mind or Raindrop, whatever. Like you can save a lot of things in one place, but I think the thing that people truly love about it is really the focus on connecting over just collecting, and how these connections follow you everywhere, whether you're in Google Docs, whether you're in Canvas, and I think that's kind of the big kind of difference, I would say.
Tony Stark, Iron Man wants to know, can it extract information, act as OCR from screenshot?
100%. So everything is like bulletproofed OCR to the extreme. And you could see, like, I think, let me see if I can come up with a good example. But if we go to staff picks and filter by images. So I'm trying to find. So here, like I'm just trying to find like an example that's a little bit like requires understanding. So here, it's recognizing hopefully this works. It's recognizing not just the text, but what this image actually means. And so if I click on this, it's going, so like this is actually a perfect example. So my brain recording my good memories and my cringe memories, and then it's going to show me related ideas. It truly understood the context, as you could see here. So
nice.
So it's, I think, very like that part is like very, very smart. Collect thoughts, form new ideas.
Is a Pocket app integration also coming soon?
We don't have a Pocket app integration. I think with integrations, we typically try to, kind of survey our community and see what they want most of. Pockets come up a bit. I wouldn't say it's come up a ton. So we're, hopefully we get to as many as possible. It's just a matter of time and resources.
Is there a voice search feature in the app?
There isn't, but it's on our radar. There's so many
things. I know.
Yeah.
Sorry if you missed it. It's possible to store just URL like in Raindrop.
Yeah, it is. And I can share that if it makes sense. But you could just
watch a replay also if anybody's missed that.
Yeah. But it is possible.
Do we need to manually add information into different collection each time manually? If yes, will it be a bit time consuming? The app should be able to automatically move the card into their relevant collections automatically. This way we just add the cards and it's in the right collection.
Yeah. So right now, like I think I shared earlier, collections are very intentional. And I think we really we take intentionality very seriously as a company. I think we want to, like, we use AI a ton, but we want the AI to know its place. And so because collections are not like tags, they're not like this automatic tagging system because the search is really good. Collections are meant to be more intentional. That said, we are going to support things like suggested collections as you're adding a card from the extension or whatever, like, this looks like it could belong here, but we really want to put people in the driver's seat, especially given, like, if you explore and spend time on Sublime, you realize you can tell the quality of the people in the community. There's just a lot of intentionality and even just the way people name collections. So yeah, I think I have a fairly opinionated view about this, which is like there, as long as you could search like anything and you don't really need tags, and then make sure the collections are this more intentional curation, and then have the AI support you in that intentional curation, but not replace you in the intentional curation.
Yeah, I mean, what you're gonna find out with the geeks, the tech guys, is they want automation. They're used to this from we've been trained, like this is what you can have. And geeks, SEOs, all of us, we get lazy sometimes. A lot of times, just want everything to be on autopilot. I don't believe in that, but that's my creative part of my head. Like, I look at tools as the tech support, the IT part of the brain. They come in, something is help, a little support's needed. So I think, like what you said earlier, Sublime might getting used to for some of the people that are more engineer first. They might be like, and it might not be for them. Everybody, if you did a poll on all these knowledge-based tools in the groups, which we've had some in the past, everyone's got a different one. And then they add another one, so I like that Sublime is finding a more unique place in that group of tools, which is a really great thing. But I'm biased because I'm a creative like you guys. I think that if we can get the geeks to come over to the, creative side a little bit, they might like it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think we definitely get a lot of people that found the like seductive taglines around like, remember everything and organize nothing, like everything's automatic. And they were kind of sold that dream. And then they were like, this is completely useless. Like, yes, they auto tagged a bunch of things, but it doesn't actually serve my needs. And so I think it works for some people. And I think we really stay in our lane. The people that are like, my collections are not tags. Like I have like collections for beliefs that I'm exploring, projects, essays, and I want full control over that, but I want AI assistance. So I think if you just want like a passive dump where you dump a bunch of stuff and you want like auto tags, Sublime is not the tool for that. If you want more intentional curation that supports you in creation, then I think there's no better tool than Sublime.
If you still want to use your brain in a Skynet world, then Sublime is good for you, where they're saying that like, 5 years from now, 90% of everything's gonna be AI, and there's gonna be 10%. And as a human, we have to really work hard on that 10%, if you want to make it in this new space.
Yeah. I mean, so many people I wrote a piece last week that I think really resonated with people around, because I actually curate a lot of kind of tools. Like, for example, I curate lists of great job descriptions because I think I just think everything like can be done in a generic way or in a creative way. So I curate job descriptions, I curate like mission statements, and so I think that what's interesting is if you have a place where you are honing your taste and your eye for what is like interesting and unique, and then you can like imagine ... like smart copy, and then feed it into AI to help you write your own job description, your own mission statement. Like, that's just going to be infinitely better than the kind of like default. So I actually shared some examples here of, imagine like a prompt without context and a prompt with the context like of your taste, and the AI output is like infinitely better when it's fueled by your references and ideas. And so, yeah, I just feel like that, to go back to that 10%, like that 10%, a lot of it is like your taste, your references, and, the content. And to have that work for you, you need to create these contexts that are very intentional. I think the moment they become completely automated, then it's not your taste.
Not you anymore. Yeah. Tuheen, when we search, does it only show Creative Commons content? Can we use this content commercially?
So when you search, you can search your library or you can search the entire Sublime network. And when you search the entire Sublime network, it's very similar to searching Pinterest or Twitter or whatever. Like, like I would say, like use common sense for attribution.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so everything that's on Sublime is like for the most part captured from elsewhere, and we try to like preserve the source. But yeah, like everything else on the internet, it can be remixed and used elsewhere, and just proper attribution is good etiquette.
Uli, any considerations to include AI in the way to add commands, like add to summary of this text to my canvas?
Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely on our radar, and we want to do it. We had a community event where we showed some design explorations around summarization, and people were so opposed to AI summaries. They were like, please prioritize other things in your roadmap. Like the summary really kind of like drains the thing of like its soul. There's other tools for summary. So all this to say, I know it'll come. I think, we're going to do this tastefully. It just is a matter of time.
Hey, David made it. David loves these kind of tools. Let's see, he's got it.
Nice. Hey, David.
When I share a podcast clip using Sublime on my iPhone, will I see the Sublime app as a share option icon?
Yes, you will.
Nice. That's important. Yeah. Let's see. Does the app understand media files? For example, if I add a podcast, MP3, link YouTube.
Yeah. So it's funny, Joe, when you add about our roadmap earlier, like I want to share like the big things, but the small things is we're actually like right now in the kind of like midway through a huge project around content storage. So to answer your question, like we're going to get there soon. Everything that you see on Sublime, we are going to extract the full context. So you're not just searching a YouTube video by title, but it really understands the full context.
Is there a team feature?
So there's no team feature, but there's a bunch of collaboration, and in fact, we have a lot of creative agencies and small teams using it. So you could just invite and collaborate with colleagues and coworkers.
Mabel, does it work with shared point?
I don't know that I know.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess follow up on that. Can we share our own rules or conditional rules to set TAGs?
Tags. Not yet. But yeah, I think the first thing we'll do is suggest collections as you're adding stuff. Yeah, I think we'd have to just like figure out what the ideal experience would be around this stuff.
What are the export options?
So export options. Okay, this is a great question. So right now you can fully export your entire library as CSV as well as a zip file. And you can export specific collections to CSV or zip files. But the thing that I'm most excited about is because I think this stuff works when it's like peace of mind, or I want to leave this tool, or I want to have the peace of mind that all the stuff I'm doing here is not going to disappear. But I think day to day, we want to support export that is a lot more friendly, meaning like make it super easy to copy and paste all of the kind of metadata and intelligently to prompt AIs. And that's what we're still working on. But the kind of CSV, zip export, all of that is working.
Okay. Mabel, can it do sentiment analysis? Can we dump all the product reviews in?
It's not really our use case, I wouldn't say. Yeah. I mean, if you want to like use it to organize, like I do have a collection called Sublime Feedback, and I dump a lot of the feedback there, but it's not really designed to do sentiment analysis.
Is it possible to get transcripts of audio video we add in cards?
It will be possible. It's not possible today. But I did mention the Podcast Magic app is designed to help you very easily listen to podcasts and add specific clips into Sublime. And yeah, I at some point, maybe Joe, we can coordinate to get your community early access.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, you could even share it. I think Alex sent me an invite. Maybe we could post it in the comments later in the Facebook group. The link, or however you want to handle that, and we could do another session on that to check out on there. And is there anything you want to share? Also, anything else with the workflow of Sublime? Like, You don't have to, but I'm just curious
I'm
if you.
wondering. Yeah, I'm
If not,
wondering.
we could always do another one too in the future.
Yeah. What do you think, Al?
I mean, yeah, always down to do more, but I feel like I'll send you the link,
Yeah.
and we can, you can share it with everybody. We're
Yeah.
just to give people some context. Right now, we're still in private beta, but we're launching very, very soon, end of this month. So expect to see a lot more of us in the very short term.
And you've been nice enough to also offer lifetime deal giveaways. Actually, do you want to go over the pricing model, which I found interesting as well? I don't know if you want to share your screen on that, or there's a lifetime deal, and then there's also a subscription.
Yeah, I can go ahead and do
If you
that.
wanna, yeah, so people get an
Sure.
idea. I mean, a lot of people in this group love lifetime deals.
Yeah, you were telling me.
But yeah, you offered that we're going to do a giveaway of 2 lifetime deals, but you can go through the questions later. I could send, everyone who attended, and then you could choose, and we'll announce that later if you'd like. This way we don't hog up time with that now.
Cool. Yeah. Well, just so people are clear, yeah, on the pricing. So we have can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So we have a pick what you would like to pay pricing, and so you can choose for annual. It can go down to 50 a year, all the way up to 200, and then lifetime we have 300 all the way up to 1,000. And you guys would be surprised, like people do pay all of those prices.
And it's the same limits, same features.
Yeah.
That I think, Alex, when you sent me this, I was like, this is so out of the box thinking. Like, I love it. That's why you guys are doing what you're doing. But
yeah,
this is pretty clever. I wonder what the community thinks. I mean, I'm sure a lot of them are like, where's the free option? Where's the, $1?
well,
but
yeah.
There are, yeah.
Right now, you can't sign up for free. Once we launch publicly, you will be able to as well.
Okay.
But right now we're still
there's no free trials now.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. So you can do the options there.
I think just to give people some context, like we purposefully chose to build this with a community that, because it was born off of I've been writing on Substack for years. We have over 30,000 people that read our work and are just like diehard supporters. And they feel that Sublime is just a lot more than a product. It's a philosophy. It's a way of being. And so I think what's interesting is that for that community, this makes a lot of sense because they have so much more context. But for people that don't have a lot of context, then, like oftentimes, like we will, when we go viral on Reddit or other places, for the most part, people will pay the cheapest price because they don't have that context. And I think part of what we want to do is like, whatever place you want to meet us is fine.
Getting good feedback about this, so that's a good thing. Oh, Mabel actually followed up with, does it work with SharePoint? May I rephrase the question? Can it read files with shareable links?
So it depends on what, like if it's like a Google Slides or something like that. Not everything, like it just depends on like if you're sharing a slideshare or something else. But this is what I meant by we're just doing like, we're going to exhaust all of the major things that you can share to extract the proper context. And that's the thing that we're really kind of focused on nailing. And I think I don't think I've seen any other tool do properly.
We might have converted Uli. Glad I attended because the basic concept and specific features were not clear to me. Didn't think beyond the known applications. Yeah, think outside the box. That's good.
Yeah, we've written a lot. Like there's a piece we wrote for Every, which is a pretty popular publication on. We called it the end of productivity, and it really kind of walks through the philosophy on kind of tags and collections and how we are building Sublime for creativity and I think it'll probably make the kind of use cases and ethos a lot clearer.
Well, we mentioned you can watch the replay, but if those are just joined, have you started working on this project?
Yeah, so initially about 4 years ago, I would say in the last year and a half is when it really got legs, and now we have like a thriving community and a bunch of paying customers, and now it feels like a real business. I think it was very kind of exploratory for the first 2 years.
Yeah. And now you're obviously branching out all these different communities, getting in our tech community as well, which is exciting. Any thoughts of joining any of the marketplaces possibly in the future? I know they do lifetime deals and stuff like that.
Which ones? I mean, I feel like we've been building
so many. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to tell us about them. We've been building this like for our community, so in a very kind of creativity first way. And now we're gonna start to get a little bit more. This is where we're gonna scale. Like you're gonna start to see us in a bunch of places because we're gonna formally launch at the end of the month.
I think Sublime reminds me a lot of, and it's not in the same space, but Go Brunch. I don't know if you've heard of Go Brunch. It went through AppSumo as a lifetime deal. Comes back every so often. Really nice founder. I believe he's from Brazil, and he created an alternate to kind of like Zoom, Google Meet, like a meeting place. But when you go there, you can make your own world. With Photoshop, with AI images, you could go from room to room. You could do webinars, and I set up, shop there as well. And I find that it's so different. And at first I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of, I don't know if it's right. It's not professional for me, that corporate, it's for a certain clientele. But then when I got involved and I started going to other people's rooms and they do like brunches, like hangouts, you start meeting other creatives and other people that are kind of looking for something different, how they communicate. And I think that's kind of what Sublime is doing in the knowledge base space. It's not for everybody, but if you love it, it's like, wow, this is great. I mean, maybe there's some collaboration you guys can do together, because this reminds me of that when that came on the scene, and it's been doing really well. It's been around for years now. It just found the founder says, look, I'm looking for an audience. If you want your Zoom and your other, live stream things, there's so many options.
Totally.
If you want to interact. Yeah.
Totally. And that's what it is. I think good enough for everybody is great for no one. And so I think we really are built like they're the people that get Sublime really truly get it and love it. And I do think it takes some time, because it is like a way of thinking. But yeah, we're trying to we're not necessarily building for everyone.
Yeah, which is fine too, as long as Alex likes it.
I'll
like it. I'll like it.
I'm for it.
Now, what do you have? You have big things coming. I guess in the this month is a big month for you guys. You pushing to the launch, and
so we've got a ton of stuff. Like we're going to be launching formally, and you can imagine we're just in like big time like bug squashing, fixing a bunch of things.
New landing page.
Landing page. I'm so happy. Like our landing page is going to be like awesome and different and creative. So we have that, and we're collaborating with a bunch of kind of people in like press and YouTube, et cetera, to share our story. But yeah, I think beyond the launch, it's a lot of kind of like, we're 1% of the way there, I think, in terms of delivering on this vision. So just continuing to ship. Podcast Magic is probably one of the coolest things we have on our radar that people are just blown away by. So we're excited because it's a standalone app, but it integrates with Sublime. So it'd be fun maybe to demo that one sometime.
Yeah, that'd be great. And is it the same team? Do you have the same team members working on that one as well?
It's a part of Sublime. We have like somebody dedicated to that one specifically, but it's part of the Sublime universe.
Yeah, if people in the community are interested, I mean, we could definitely do it. We'll do it either way. If it's just us guys, we'll just chat. Whoever shows up, shows up.
Yeah, amazing.
This is great. Well, yeah. Thank you, Sari and Alex, and everyone who attended. And we'll announce winners later. But let's see. Oh, we got one more. You can check this product finder. What does it integrate? Lots of storage tool. However, yours is better KM capability, Mabel says. Okay. Nice.
Oh, which one is it? You check this product. Oh, Finder.
Yeah.
I see.
But yours has better capability, so that's good.
Yeah.
Here we go. You want to launch on Product Hunt?
Yeah, we plan to launch on Product Hunt. We'll probably do that sometime in April. I mean, I think there are a lot of tools in this space. I will say, I think a lot of these tools come and go because they're not really driven by like this like I don't know how to state it. Like it's like a founder trying to like maybe create something fast and easy. And I think for us, like we are in this for the long haul, and I think that just makes such a difference when it's a
No, I
knowledge
mean, if you
management
look
tool.
at past successive tools, on platforms like Apple, think different. It was always something the people were like, "What are you doing? Like, this is weird." And yeah, it's still difficult to scale with any tool, but I do like that you guys have the vision of what you're doing and you're staying true to it, which is great. And I always say invest in founders, because that's where it's at. And a lot of the tools lately, unfortunately, it's spray and pray with AI. Like just this AI is out. Let's build a tool. Let's build a tool. Well, what's your vision for the tool? Oh, I just want to solve this problem. But yeah, but is it, do you like it? Are you using it yourself? We don't know,
Yeah.
Because driven by passion.
Totally. Like, what is your motivation? Are you in it for like a quick buck? Are you in it for the long haul? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of cash grabs. LTD community is aware of it. So it's good that you're introduced through LoudEgg, and there's other bigger, larger groups on Facebook. There's like a Kenmu community I can connect you with, Alex. SaaS Warrior. Please. There's so many, and I think we'll be the first one, but I'm sure others will knock on your door and be like, "Hey, you want to do something here, a promotion or something?" And you'll get more feedback. You'll get, of course, the negative, and you'll get the positive, but you want it all just to see. Just try to stay, true to what you're doing. And like, yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, most of the people after the gold rush, cash grabs. Yeah, it's true. Unfortunately, I mean, with the new tech comes, this other stuff as well. So
yeah. I mean, I just think that like this is in this case, like when it comes to a PKM tool, we're asking you to trust us with your ideas, and so that's why we've been building in public from day one, because we want you to trust us, so that because we're like it's not a Sublime is not a one and done. You're entering a relationship with a tool that hopefully will be the home for your ideas for a long time. So yeah, I for us that part about really knowing the motivation, the intention is so important.
And the thing is that you're building in public, which there's a lot of companies that do this, and then they disappear. But you have that social aspect of the platform where you're always gonna be on there. So like, it's easy. We're always gonna see you building in public. I hate when it's like they're building in public and this is so great. For 30 days they built in public and then they're gone.
And they're done.
And you're like, what happened? Oh, they're they took their money. They're out of the boat.
Sari has always said, like, this is a 10-year project, like this is long term. And I think that's really helpful. Like, this is something we want to be building for a really long time.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. That's why, I mean, I think it's interesting. Like I come out of this with just a lot of always interesting insights of what people want. But I think with software, not to get all philosophical, like the faster you build it, the faster it can also be destroyed. And that's why we always said, like, we are growing at the speed of trust. We started with a community. We, like do like fewer things better. And then over time grow, because it is so easy to cram a million features with AI. But yeah, we really kind of,
and then you have to worry about scaling, as well. And also with the lifetime deal, the users, or the annual even, can you support all these users and all their questions and everything, years from now? That's something obviously probably I've thought of as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. Definitely cool. All right. Well, I think got all the questions, and we went over an hour. I could talk to you guys for like hours. We could talk to Sari. Thank you so much. And
thank
Alex.
You. This has been
thank you.
It's fun, and we'll talk after and try to do this again sometime.
Sounds great. And thank you for having us.
Yeah, truly. check out Sublime. Sublime.app. I've had the link up there. I'm not an affiliate as of yet. I'd like the product. I like the team. Anything else you guys want to close with before we head out?
I just like, thank you. I mean, I know there's like an infinite ways to spend your time. So we really appreciate you spending it with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys.
Slow and steady wins the race. I am feeling vibes from Asif that he might want to check out my Patience collection on Sublime, because
we might have him. Yeah, yep. He might be
build in public thinking on building it at the right pace. So maybe I'll link him to that later.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, have a good rest of your day, or if you're overseas, evening. Dream about Sublime, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.